This is TV2, WBAY-TV, Green Bay. Now, the latest from Northeast Wisconsin's news leader, with Tom Zalaski, George Graffis with weather, and Bill Jarts with sports. This is Action 2 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Tom Zalaski. A warning tonight about a ruthless killer who stalks its prey without regard to age or sex.
Channel 2, KPRC-TV, Houston. The news starts now. Live from Houston, this is Channel 2 News with Ron Stone, Jan Carson, Doug Johnson, Ron Franklin, and the Channel 2 News team.
Harris County Sheriff's divers are still searching.
Now, KDK TV News at 11.
A teenager hanging out a warm summer night, shots ring out of nowhere, and now doctors are fighting to save his life. But that teenager was not the only one hit.
No, in fact, bullets flew into a house.
There's only one, two. Casa TV Fox 2, with New Mexico's only primetime newscast, 1 hour earlier. This is your news at 9.
Another mysterious package in Albuquerque, this one at a local business.
A look at...
This is K2TV's News at 10.
A man dies days after an incident where Cheyenne police restrained him.
And an epidemic in China affects a family in Wyoming.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Flint Adams.
And I'm Lindy Patton. Those stories are coming up, but first...
Live from Wyoming's news leader, K2TV. This is K2's News at 10 with Lindy Patton, Chief Meteorologist Andy Shaw, and Sports with George Kay.
News Channel 2, 10 at 10, starts now.
The floods of '99 were a soggy nightmare for thousands.
We are your News Channel 2 with Amy Johnson, Brian Roche, Dave Town, Storm Track 2 forecast, and Chris Miller, sports.
Accurate, objective, fair. You're watching KBCI CBS 2 News.
It's that time of year again when Boise gets a slew.
They can put a man on the moon, but they can't find a cure for the common cold. Or can they? New hope that's great news for your nose. Would you let all this stuff pile up in your backyard?
They're not treasures anymore. No, they're junk.
Well, guess what? One man's junk is another man's tax deduction. This is 2 News at 5.
You're watching 2 News at 5.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's supposed to be spring, but today it felt more like Christmas outside. You're even...
2 News and You. News with you in mind. With Michelle King, Mark Cobell, and Susan Furness in Utah County.
Senator Orrin Hatch has
Now, with coverage you can count on, Krem 2 News with the latest at 11.
The Yugoslavian night sky pierced once again tonight by gunfire and missiles as NATO warplanes drop more damage on the Serbs.
From Western New York's Information Center, Channel 2 News at 6 starts now.
On a day the nation honors freedom fighters, a veteran from Western New York receives a high honor. We'll have more on a man who helped lead the Allies to victory on D-Day. Plus,
we have to come. We're working to win you over.
News Center 2 with John McDonald, Jerry Weber, Gary Galvin, and the news team of News Center 2.
Good evening. This is the news. The United States and Russia.
This is Channel 2 News at 10 with Ann Holt, Bob Mueller, Davis Nolan's weather, and Steve Phillips on sports.
Good evening, everyone. A Robertson County funeral director is facing some unusual charges tonight.
You're watching KTVI St. Louis. Fox 2 News at 6 starts now.
A convicted sex offender is eluding police tonight.
William Niehaus is wanted on more charges, but Missouri...
And now, News 2 at 6, working for you.
The chaplain will offer a prayer.
The Senate rests in their effort to impeach the president. Now it's up to President Clinton's defense team. Good evening, I'm Chris Garrett. Jennifer Mitchell has the night off. This is the third and last...
This is KVBC Las Vegas. Now, with Dave Cavassier, Ricky Cheese, weather with Mike Davis, sports with Scott Reynolds. This is News 3 Nightside.
Good evening. Parts of Southern California have been declared a disaster area tonight.
From the heart of the Virginias, this is WHSB TV3 News at noon. We're making a difference for you.
Don't always believe what you read. Those vacation ads could be too good to be true.
No Wait News at 10 starts now.
I'm Brad Hudson. Welcome to KIDK News Watch 3.
And I'm Jill Lynn Thomas. Thanks so much for being with us this evening. Let's get right to our top story.
Thousands of Medicare...
More local news on KIII TV3 begins now.
$25,000 a week. That's what it's costing to spray the Corpus Christi area for mosquitoes. How much longer can that go on?
For 29 years, the #1 news station serving all of South Texas with more local news. This is 3 News. With Joe Gazin, meteorologist Roland Galvan, and Dan McReynolds Sports. This is KIII's 3 News at 6. You're watching KFBX. Live with Texoma's 24-hour news team. This is News Center 3 Nightcast.
Good evening, I'm Carrie Hinkle.
And I'm Doug Bilyeu. Our top story tonight, U.S. investigators are headed to...
This is WEAR, ABC 3, your clear choice for news at 10 o'clock.
5 new names now grace the Vietnam War Memorial in the nation's capital.
You've made Channel 3 News your choice at 10 o'clock with anchors Bob Solarski, Ann Kirian, meteorologist Ashley Chisholm, and Dan Shugart Sports.
This is KIMT News Channel 3's Weekend Edition. Coverage you can count on.
An appeal from Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon helped win support for a U.S.-backed Middle East peace plan.
From KTVO Kirksville, Ottumwa, this is KTVO News at 10, because accuracy matters.
Good evening, I'm Emily Finnegan. Iowa lawmakers are about to begin drawing new...
Live in high definition, this is News Channel 3 at 6.
A Hampton family is cleaning up after a car smashed through their home.
It was airborne when it came through the bay window.
Tonight, the mother behind the wheel is charged with child neglect and maybe more.
News Channel 3's Dominique Ben has the new details.
First in the Carolinas, the commitment to news excellence and innovation. This is WBTV Charlotte. Bob Inman, Sarah James, Paul Cameron, and Mike McKay. All tonight on WBTV News, The Night Report.
Good evening. We will know by mid-afternoon tomorrow whether professional baseball...
Channel 4, Pittsburgh.
Channel 4, the tri-state area's leading news station. This is Action News.
There's good news for baseball fans tonight. John Candelaria was released from a Meadville hospital today.
The dramas of child abuse, Tuesday on Merv. The World Tonight. Now here's Jim Brosmer.
Good evening, everybody. 29 Haitians who tried for freedom in the United States are in custody tonight at the Chrome Avenue Detention Center.
Next at 6, shifting ground, keeping an eye on the sky as another storm pushes into the Bay Area.
Plus, looking to shake off telemarketers or worried about unemployment, spelling out the new laws for the new year.
Ringing in 2002, this year's New Year's celebrations take on a different look.
And reflections on the year that was, one few Americans could ever forget.
Live from the Bay Area's news station, this is KRON 4 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Wendy Takuda.
And I'm Tom Sinkovich. Thank you for joining us on this New Year's Eve.
Expect the news first. This is Oklahoma's News Channel 4 at 10. It's one of the top consumer complaints in the country, getting billed for something you didn't want. Tonight, Brad Edwards goes in your corner with a warning. Plus,
now live from WHBF-TV in the Quad Cities, this is Channel 4 Eyewitness News at 5.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tambry Lane. John is off today. Last-minute mailers flooded post offices today, and that...
From WWL-TV, the spirit of Louisiana, this is Louisiana's news leader, Channel 4's Eyewitness News Night Watch.
Good evening, I'm Mike Hoss.
And I'm Lucy Bustamante. A dense fog advisory has just been issued for parts of our area.
You're watching KTIV. Siouxland's News Channel, live from Signal Hill. This is News Channel 4 at 10.
Good evening. Nebraska lawmakers have started a legislative session that...
You're watching Siouxland's News Channel with Christy Vermullen, Matt Breen, meteorologist Ron DeMars, and sports with Brad Pouch. This is KTIV News Channel 4 at 10.
This is News 4 San Antonio, the Weekend Report.
Good evening. Nobody said it would be easy.
Now on Eyewitness News 4.
More wild weather around New Mexico, and Albuquerque's getting pounded too, including an arroyo rescue.
A New Mexico soldier's parents get the worst possible news. Their son is not coming back from Iraq alive.
One sheriff's deputy's deft hand is a force behind a lot of arrests, and it has nothing to do with using her gun.
This is Eyewitness News 4 at 6.
Just moments ago, a man was pulled from the fast-moving water near Montgomery and Carlisle.
Working for you with Tom Joles, Carla Aragon, meteorologist Larry Rice, and JP Murrieta with sports. This is Eyewitness News 4 at 6 on KOB TV.
WTMJ TV Milwaukee, your #1 news station. News for tonight at 10.
Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Kay. A Southside house fire.
Now, from the Inland Northwest, #1 source for breaking news, this is Total News 4 at 11.
They risk their lives, but some say police in Washington State need more training to keep up with 21st century crime. Good evening, I'm Richard Brown.
And I'm Mariam Mishima.
Topping our news this evening.
You're watching Total News 4 at 11 with Richard Brown and Mariam Mishima.
And welcome back. We have some news tonight.
From Salt Lake City, Utah's Channel 4, this is KTVX News with Dan Breinholt, Allison Hayrand, David Hefferly with weather, and Floss Wagner with sports.
Hello, I'm Allison Hayward.
And I'm Dan Breinholt. A major tragedy in northern England.
ABC News 4's 7 o'clock news is broadcast live on CNN Radio 1450.
There's a different man heading up the Charleston Police Department today. I'm ABC News 4's Patrice Smith. The story is next.
You think oil is the reason local gas prices are so high? Well, you're only half right. I'm Anderson Burns. That story coming up.
One more swing in the Dream 18. I'm Josh Morton. The 19th hole coming up.
And I'm meteorologist Tom Crawford. The possibility of a heat advisory, and also could you get wet into your Thursday? We'll have details in a moment, but first, your 7 o'clock news. It starts now.
From WCIV, this is ABC News 4 at 7 with Dean Stevens and Nina Sossaman.
Labor Day travel nears and gas prices continue to rise. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dean Stevens.
And I'm Nina Sossaman. More on the high prices at the pump in just a moment. But
you are watching Indiana's most watched news on TTV4, the heart of Indiana. This is 6 News at 10 with Clyde Lee, Deion Willis, weather with meteorologist Bob McLean, and Ed Sorensen on sports. Now, live on TTV4, 6 News at 10.
Well, what you're looking at there is a live picture from downtown Indianapolis. Snow is falling. It will continue to fall through the night, and when it's all over, 8 to 10.
This is KAMR-TV Amarillo, and this is News 4 at 6.
Authorities are investigating whether a man found dead in this house in Amarillo may have died of asphyxiation.
This on the same day, fire from a faulty chimney sent a family fleeing their burning home in the middle of the night. The dangers of staying warm, our top story on News 4.
Good evening. An autopsy is being performed.
News straight to you with Mary Allison and Lynn Walker. Weather with meteorologist Steve McCauley and Steve Zane on sports. This is News 4 at 6.
From across the Rio Grande Valley, taking action for you. This is Action 4 News at 6.
Supposedly there's a list. Stay with us.
Taking action for you. This is Action 4 News at 6 with Michael Brooks, Martha Benavides, Chief Meteorologist Brian Hale, and sports with Clay Williams.
Next on News 4, live at 6.
Gangs, drugs, guns. Some say it could be the beginning of a long, hot summer.
And
former Missouri Attorney General Bill Webster is caught in the midst of a lot of rumors. What's fact, what's fiction?
Plus,
a new riverboat casino set to roll up the river, but some wonder if it will sink in its new location. Big story coverage straight ahead.
This is News 4, live at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Gangs, drugs, and guns.
Concern coming up in tonight's big story.
Julia Thunder, Larry Connors, meteorologist Trish Brown, and sports with Doug Vaughn. This is News 4, live at 6.
Starts now.
You're watching KITV4, Island Television. This is your Island Television News at 10.
Good evening. Honolulu police sweep downtown Chinatown in a massive drug bust operation.
You're watching KITV4, Island Television News at 10. With Paula Akana, Sean Ching, Island Weather with Justin Fujioka, and Island Sports with Robert K. Kaula. This is your Island Television News at 10.
When news happens, you'll see it happen on King 5. And now, with all the news for Western Washington, Gene Anderson and Mike James, Shelley Monahan's weather, and Tony Ventrella sports. This is King 5 News at 11.
The snow, at first a relief to flood victims, is now starting to melt. More flood warnings tonight, and a worry that this may happen once again.
This is WFRV TV5, Green Bay, Fox Cities. Now, with all the news for Northeast Wisconsin, this is Eyewitness News at 6.
I wish that.
Now live, this is NBC5, the Texas News Channel.
Feels like March to me, really.
Unseasonably warm temperatures are making it easier for kids, young and old, to enjoy their Christmas presents. Good evening, everyone. I'm Michael Scott, in for Mike Snyder.
And I'm Sabrina Smith. Jane McGarry also has the night off.
Live from NBC5, the Texas News Channel, Jane McGarry, Mike Snyder, Chief Meteorologist David Finfrock, and Sports Director Scott Murray. This is NBC5.
Well, good evening, and what a wonderful day, and boy, the temperatures getting back, yes, very much the way they should be at this time of year, but it does feel good for a change. Nice and cool in the morning, warms up in the afternoon. I guess that's what we want. Little moisture may be on the way about midweek. We'll have to wait and see. And just to hope it isn't one of those big thunder boomers or something like that. But yeah, a little rain in the forecast for a day or so, along with the new heat wave that's coming our way. We'll check that weather for you at the end of our news this evening.
KHAS-TV News 5 delivers coverage you can count on.
A U.S. Senate candidate travels the state unveiling his ideas to improve health care. Nebraska's ethanol production will increase with a new plant planned near Aurora. And Grand Island police continue to investigate a fatal double shooting. And that is our top story tonight on News 5 at 6. Good evening, I'm Lauren Maloney. Rob Osman has the night off. Grand Island.
Now, Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley's most watched local news team. This is 5 News at 10.
One of the top outdoor rodeos in the nation is going on in Northwest Arkansas right now around
Bringer, Norma Rashid, Blackberry's weather, and Greg Horde with sports. Now, live from Crosley Square, this is News 5.
Good evening. With Ohio's primary less than a month away now, the Buckeye State is beginning to become an important stop on the campaign trail.
This is News Channel 5 at 6.
Teachers in one bi-state school district launch an informal picket to rally for better salaries and avoid a strike.
Money problems totaling in the millions in St. Charles could stop the construction of several projects.
This is News Channel 5 at 6 with Deanne Lane, Dan Craig, John Fuller, and Mike Bush.
Up next on Fox 5 News at 10, a casino confrontation caught on tape just moments before a murder in Mesquite. See the latest evidence coming up.
I'm Shelley Bruner, and these aren't just birds, they're Jill Duncan's pets, and she's in a battle of her life to keep them alive. Find out what's going on coming up in a live report.
They think that they own the road, I guess. I don't know.
And the list is out. We'll show you where you will find the rudest drivers in the valley. Fox 5 News at 10 begins right now.
First for Southern Nevada, the original 10 o'clock news. This is Fox 5 News at 10.
First at 10, the tale of the tape and the brutal stabbing of 2 little girls. The question tonight, is this a timeline to murder? Good evening, this is Fox 5 News at 10. I'm John Overall. It just might be...
Our top story tonight, your safety on Mid-South roads. This weekend, new regulations are going into place to curb accidents in...
From WCYB, the region's #1 source for news. This is News Center 5, live at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ann Carter. The Barter Theater is...
News that makes a difference. This is KCTV 5 News at 10.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dee Griffin. The Democrats attack, the president responds. The coming budget battle is the focus of a presidential visit, and the Democrats...
Due to a schedule change, Billy Graham in Romania will be seen Friday night at 7 instead of Thursday at 9 as previously announced. From the Gulf Coast leading news station, WKRG-TV, this is the Wednesday 10 o'clock edition of News Center 5.
Good evening, I'm Andy Pearson. Vice President George Bush broke his silence on the Iran arms deal today. He said it's clear mistakes were made.
All this and more next.
You're watching KSBY TV. And now, KSBY News Update with Rick Martell and Sandra Moss. Weather with Mike McCartney and Mitch Massey on sports.
A real stumper tonight for local lawmen. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sandra Moss, and tonight Pismo Beach.
Live from WDAY, your news leader, Marv Bossert and Kirsten Keeley. meteorologist John Wheeler, and sports director Dana Mock. This is WDAY News at 10.
I understand the importance of agriculture in the American society.
Live from WKMG, the Problem Solvers. This is Local 6 News at 6.
The city of Orlando investigating the actions of their own firefighters. Tonight, the highly anticipated internal audit is released. Good evening, I'm Lauren Rowe.
And I'm Bob Fryer.
The city auditor is reviewing allegations.
Live from the Channel 6 studios, this is KRIS 6 News at 6. Now, here's the latest.
City officials are one step closer to making this Port Area baseball stadium a reality just in time for the November ballot. And she's accused of an accident that left a 2-year-old dead. But this woman's attorneys say she wouldn't be on trial if she were a man. Defense attorneys for Irma Rivera say there were 37 fatal crashes.
Local news comes first. This is NBC 6 News at 6.
You may talk to your children about how to act when approached by a stranger, but do they really listen to you?
Our hidden camera reveals your investment in your child could save their life. That's our top story for July 18th.
Where local news comes first. You're watching NBC 6 News at 6 with Lisa Heitman and Bruce Foray.
From the Northlands News Center, this is News Center at 10 with Michelle Lee, George Kessler, Tom Hansen, and special IT reports from Barbara Riles. You are watching NBC 6, and this is News Center at 10.
There was a bit of good news today on gasoline. The price of oil.
You're watching KHQ Channel 6, local news.
From your Northwest News Channel, this is Q6 News.
The price of filling up your tank continues to soar higher and higher, and overnight, it's only going to get worse. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Humphreys. Randy Shaw has the night off.
From Upper Michigan's news leader, Steve Asplin, Elizabeth Peterson, Carl Bonack Weather, and Mike Ludlam Sports. This is your TV6 Early News.
A Hubble couple is in the hospital tonight following a crash in Spur Township.
State police.
Live from the region's most watched news team, this is NBC 6 at 11.
Keeping your yard safe, that's tonight's top story. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leanne Woodbury. Well, with all the recent rain...
You're watching NBC 6 at 11 with Leanne Woodbury. Meteorologist Corey Henderson and PJ Ziegler with sports.
This is Channel 6 News 11 at 11 with Marty Radovanek, Jennifer Callan, Tim Rigby with sports, and meteorologist Jim Burton with the Channel 6 Severe Weather Team forecast.
Good evening. Welcome to Channel 6 News 11 at 11. I'm Marty Radovanek.
And I'm Jennifer Callan.
From WDSU, News Channel 6 is on your side.
Meningitis vaccines are supposed to be mandatory for college students, but many have found a loophole around it.
You're watching KABC TV, Los Angeles. Moving to the rhythm of the city, to the beat of the streets. News, weather, and sports for a city that plays hard, works hard, and moves fast. Harold Green, Joanna Shamina, Fred Anderson, and Jim Hill. And now, Eyewitness News Tonight.
Good evening. At 11 o'clock on this Sunday night, Chinese troops are still fighting to gain control of Beijing at this hour.
You're on KVII-TV, Channel 7, Amarillo. This is Pro News, the noon edition, with Ev Avera, Andrea Miller, meteorologist Dave Harmon, and the Stock Report with Jess Miller.
Good afternoon. Randall County District Attorney Randy Sherrod is still not commenting.
This is KSWO-TV, Channel 7 in Lawton and Wichita Falls. You can count on us.
The state Senate has passed the lottery bill. I'm Carla Wade. That story is coming up. The lottery is one step closer to being voted on by the people. I'm Carla Wade. That story is just ahead.
Healthcare is on the rise, but why? I'm Jason Whitehorn. Find out how this affects you, the patient. That story straight ahead.
The West Nile virus may soon become a problem again as the weather begins warming up. I'm Station Aikman live in East Comanche County. Your news is now.
Live in Texoma, ABC Channel 7. This is 7 News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The education lottery bill sailed through the Oklahoma Senate after an uphill battle.
You're watching ABC 7, West Tennessee's news channel.
Jackson police are investigating a car wreck that sent a man and 2 children to the hospital this afternoon. And tonight's the last night to check and see if your computer's infected with a virus that could keep you from going online tomorrow.
Now, from West Tennessee's news channel, this is 7 Eyewitness News at 5:30.
We begin tonight with a terrible car crash in Jackson earlier today. Thanks for joining.
WXYZ 7 is on your side. Now, 7 Action News at 7.
It'll take a while for the mayor to be up and around again, but tonight doctors say he is at least doing well in his fight with a bout of diverticulitis. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Frank Turner. Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick.
You're watching KETV Channel 7 Omaha. More complete coverage. This is KETV News Watch 7 at 6.
We've all seen it. People.
KETV News Watch 7 at 6. More complete coverage with Rob McCartney, Julie Cornell, Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby, and John Sheets. This is KETV News Watch 7 at 6.
You're watching WJHG NBC 7. And this is the award-winning News Channel 7 at 6.
After more than a year of debate, the Bay County School Board will make a final decision tonight regarding teacher salaries.
You're watching the award-winning News Channel 7 at 6 with Joe Moore and Nisa Trout.
From KPLC TV, this is 7 News Nightcast.
The Louisiana Supreme Court throws out Calcasieu Parish's system for picking judges for capital cases, raising serious questions about cases here and elsewhere in the state. That surprise ruling tops our news tonight. Good evening and welcome to 7 News Nightcast. I'm Cynthia Arsenault.
And I'm Brian Burns. Thank you for joining us.
This is KWWL, Iowa's news channel. The news more Eastern Iowans watch than all other broadcast and cable channels. With Ron Steele, Liz Mathis, meteorologist Craig Johnson, and sports with Brian Leslie. This is KWWL News at 6.
You mean to say everybody that goes out and has to wear these?
In the news tonight, the Ogdensburg City Council considers whether or not to privatize certain services to save money.
The North Country mourns another native son killed overseas, this time a reservist killed in Iraq.
And Hurricane Isabel may be gone, but she's left a lot of people without power or services. 7 News Tonight is next.
Welcome home to the North Country's finest. You're watching 7 News Tonight with Brian Ashley and Teresa Fulcher. Weather with Rick DeFranco and Mel Bustler on sports.
Good evening, I'm Brian Ashley.
And I'm Teresa Fulcher. Could some Ogdensburg city departments be...
Serving your town and all of northern Michigan, this is 7 and 4 News at 11.
People are going to start seeing those services that are offered that they've never been able to get up here.
Better technology. You're watching 7 and 4 News at 11. With Mark Cholette, Diana Fairbanks, Chief Meteorologist Mark Watkins. And Giacomo Accardo with sports.
Live, you're watching the Black Hills News Leader, KEVN Fox 7 News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Lenka Garris. Jack has the night
We'll
off.
bring South by Southwest into our studio all week, and on Monday we'll take you for a wild ride in the new Nissan 350Z. It's all on Fox 7 News in the morning.
This is Fox 7 News at 9.
Good evening. Those stories are coming up, but first, the United Nations Chief Weapons Inspector says Iraq
for the New River Valley. News 7 at 5 is next.
Covering your hometown from newsrooms across the region. This is News 7 at 5.
I'm glad we...
News 8 is brought to you tonight by Esso Standard Oil.
For Tuesday, June the 30th, 1987, here's the day in review. Good evening, I'm Ron Burton. Most of the territory's government workers received the first installment of their retroactive wage payments today.
Pro 8 News at 6. Coverage you can count on.
Good evening, and thank you for choosing Laredo's top-rated newscast. I'm Audra Schrader.
And I'm Tim Gutierrez. Pro 8 News continues with Tim Gutierrez and Audra Schrader.
Covering tech. It's 6 o'clock, and you're watching KCCI Channel 8 Des Moines, Iowa's news leader. With Kevin Cooney, Jeanette Trumpeter, meteorologist John McLaughlin, and Heidi Soliday Sports. This is News Channel 8.
It is extremely disappointing to lose an election that is...
Jim Penna, Sherry Stalley, Travis Koshko, Eric Murphy. This is Fox 8 News at 10 o'clock. Up to date, not up late.
Good evening, friends, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jim Pennant. Sherry Stalley has the night off. A national anti-drug...
You're watching KSBW Channel 8, Salinas, Monterey, Santa Cruz. Now, coverage you can count on. This is Action News 8.
A nasty accident in Salinas. Paramedics rushing at this hour to save a mother and her baby.
California passes the toughest mattress law in the country. Will it help you rest a little easier tonight?
And our top story, a local service station owner in his fight to lower gas prices. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dan Green.
And I'm Erin Clark. We are beginning new at 11.
You're watching KSBW Action News 8 at 11. With Dan Green, Erin Clark, Dennis Lennon Sports, and Weather Watch 8 with Jim Vanderswan. Now, Action News 8 continues.
News across America, dumb crooks. This would-be robber could actually write the book on what not to do.
From News 8, the Concho Valley's first choice for news, weather, and sports. This is Live at 10 with David Wagner, Carolyn McEnroe, Ray Green with weather, and Hector Ledesma with sports.
Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. A wedding ring lost in the September 11th.
This is WCHS Eyewitness News at 11. Your news starts now.
I mean, it's really scary to think that there's...
Live from the state capitol, Deborah Lenz, Rick Lord, Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi, and Mark Martin with sports. You're watching Eyewitness News at 11.
Now.
You're watching the weekend edition of the Color 8 News at 10.
4th of July celebrations are kicking off across the area. Good evening, I'm Chelsea Rabbit.
You're watching WKDT La Crosse. This is News 8 at 6.
Right now at 6, some power outages continue to linger from a windstorm late last night. Good evening and thanks for watching News 8. I'm Christinella Serio. It hasn't even been 2 months since devastating tornadoes struck the Cooley region, but last night high-powered winds.
You're watching News 8 New England. And now, Janine Lauber, Mike Clark, Chief Meteorologist Lou McNally, and sports with Steve Minnick. This is 11 on 8.
This Bethel man is accused of impersonating a psychologist. Authorities say he counseled more than a dozen patients before anyone found out he was a fake. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Voted Best Newscast by the Radio Television News Directors Association of the Carolinas. This is WNCT-TV, Greenville. First in News with Alan Hoffman, meteorologist Philip Williams, and Brian Bailey with sports. This is News Center 9's 11 o'clock report.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alan Hoffman. Thanks for joining us on the First in News tonight. A bit of controversy in Lenore County tonight.
KEZI, official sponsor of the Nike Oregon Classic. This is KEZI News at 11.
The hills around Marcola are the scene of a massive search and rescue effort tonight.
You're watching KEZI News at 11. With Carl Torp, Deanna Connell, meteorologist John Fisher, and Mark Larson on sports.
And now, Bob Johnson, Mary Ellen Locher, meteorologist Neil Pascal, and sports with Daryl Patterson. This is News Channel 9 at 11.
But we do want this city to be a safe place for our families to live.
No one covers New Hampshire like we do in high definition. Now, WMUR News 9 at 6.
Well, the fall colors are showing across the state, and now the temperatures match. Good evening, New Hampshire. Thanks for joining us. I'm Melinda Davenport. It certainly felt like fall across much of the state today.
From the news team covering the Carolinas, live, local, late breaking, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News Daybreak 6 a.m. in high definition.
And we continue to follow that breaking news in South Charlotte. Just talked to Captain Rob Brisley. He says no one was hurt in the fire, but a large fire at the Taco Bell on Providence Road at the Arboretum.
From WAOW, all your coverage in stunning high definition. Newsline 9 at 6. Your trusted resource.
Some Northwoods businesses gearing up for the upcoming holiday weekend.
And a resource center for needy families.
All your coverage in stunning high definition with Melissa Langman, Brian Garoff, Tony Schumacher, and Jason Geiser. Newsline 9 at 6. Your trusted resource.
Welcome back to you. With the holiday weekend soon upon us, many people are enjoying the new road and the trail that leads up to Rib Mountain.
You're watching KCFW 9, the news leader. This is the news at 6.
The body of a man missing on Big Mountain has been found. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Steve Thutfly. 21-year-old Sam Vesti was last seen with co-workers at the Hell Roaring Bar and Restaurant late Saturday night.
WIXT 9 in Syracuse. From the WIXT 9 Broadcast Center, Rod Wood and Carrie Lazarus, Doug Logan on sports, and Rick Gary with weather. This is 9 Eyewitness News.
Good evening, everyone. Children waiting on the street corners, yellow buses flashing red lights, and bells ringing.
It's the beginning of a new school year here in central New York, and students today officially said good.
I'm Kelly Davis in Reed City, where test scores have dropped for students facing a tougher curriculum.
I'm Evan Dean in Grand Traverse County, where local veterinarians are seeing an outbreak of the parvovirus, a disease that infects dogs.
I'm Christina Vecchione in Montmorency County. A recent report shows the number of people with concealed pistol license here is the second largest in the state.
Cool, damp, windy were the weather words for today. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine. I'll have that forecast coming up.
From Northern Michigan's news leader, this is 9 and 10 News at 6.
We're going to do what we need to do to make sure that we're solvent.
There are just two. Fox 10 Action News at 6 p.m. continues.
They were murdered 80 years ago. Now you have a chance to see how they live.
This is Channel 10, St. Thomas.
News Center 10 is brought to you by Unclaimed Freight.
Good evening, I'm Yvonne Wright. The National Guard airlifted over $1 million worth of emergency supplies from Puerto Rico.
Thank you for turning to 10. From WJAR, this is News Channel 10 at 6.
They'd eaten all our food, drank all our beer, and partied their brains out.
This is Tampa Bay's 10 News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Heather Van Ness.
And I'm Dave Worth. Reggie has the night off. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with breaking news, a fireworks mishap at the beach.
You're watching KZTV Action 10 News at 6 with Jennifer Leda, meteorologist David Mazza, and Roland Rodriguez.
From KWTX, Central Texas News Leader. This is News 10 Tonight.
Guess who may not be making an appearance at the Grammy Awards? CBS says they've already put on enough of a show.
And we'll show you why the twisted wreckage of cars in an accident may actually be signs that safety measures are working.
A lot of people just don't have the money.
Live from 10 WALB, leading the way for South Georgia. This is WALB News 10 at 6.
Officers raided 4 Dougherty County convenience.
This is WALB News 10 at 6 with news anchors Dawn Hobby and Ben Roberts. Your local weather forecast with AMS meteorologist Yolanda Amadeo. And sports with Robert Heidrich.
Coming up.
From Monroe, West Monroe to El Dorado and throughout Region 10, this is KTVE Region 10 News at 6. Coverage you can count on.
Thanks for joining us. Representative Tom DeLay is giving up his role as House Majority Leader.
10 News is live, local, late breaking. Now 10 News at 11.
To join a union or not to, a question.
An emotional day at an area amusement park will tell you how employees spent their last day at work.
Local college students are making a commitment to our community. Find out how they're making a difference in the Ozarks.
And Halloween decorating is taking a dive this year, but it has nothing to do with the economy. The news starts now.
You're watching Color 10 News at 10 with Kate Stacy and Chris Grogan.
Well, first to 10, it is the end of an era for a popular amusement park.
Yeah, owners of Celebration City in Branson are permanently closing that facility, and that kind of...
You're watching Color 10 News at 10 with Kate Stacy and Chris Grogan.
Now, News Channel 10 is on your side at 11.
The alert is out and patrols are in place, but not every security measure is obvious. Tonight, a message from local emergency crews about the changes you can't see. Good evening, I'm Melissa Martin. John and Karen have the night off.
You're watching ABC 10.
Live, local, with 10 minutes of non-stop news. ABC 10 News Now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us for ABC 10 News Now. I'm Jen Codenini. The Ontonagon County Sheriff's Department is tonight looking for an elderly man.
Thanks for joining us for this Tuesday broadcast of the Fairbanks Evening News. I'm Melissa Godshaw.
And I'm Bob Miller. Members of Congress say the oil industry is manipulating...
$1 million chance, 6:30 weeknights.
This is News Center 11 Tonight with Danielle Kegel, Joe Marciano, and Sean Cronin.
Good evening. I'm Danielle Kegel. Here's what's happening. War between the U.S. and Libya could break out at any time now, or at least that's what...
Coverage you can count on. Live from KCBD TV. This is News Channel 11 at 6.
For all the hard work you do on behalf of us.
Politicians begin to make their move on the day after Larry Combest announces his resignation. Good evening and thank you for joining us.
Leading the news tonight, one day after Larry Combest.
You're watching at the USD. Karen McKay, meteorologist John Robinson, and Emily Jones Sports. This is News Channel 11 at 6.
If you haven't heard, it's a huge weekend for Texas Tech football and for Lubbock.
A win.
Now, 11 News at 10.
As rockets fly across the skies of Iraq, targeting U.S. troops, Air Force One soars through peaceful skies on the other.
This is News Channel 11, your Tri-Cities news source at 5.
The fall of the year means fall festival time in the Tri-Cities, and one local event is helping to keep kids safe.
You're watching KMBT Channel 11 Twin Falls, the Magic Valley's news source. This is the news at 10 p.m.
An accident at an intersection has left 2 people hospitalized in
WTOL TV, Toledo 11. From Northwest Ohio's leading news team, Jill Olmstead, Jeff Heitz, meteorologist Charlie Oppenauer, and Oris Tabner with sports. This is Toledo 11 News Night Watch.
Good evening. It's a battle between 2 American rights. The right.
This is the award-winning WTOC TV Channel 11 Savannah, the Southeast news leader, and the news at 11.
Good evening. In the news tonight, an investigation underway at Savannah's Chimera plant to find out what caused the release today of 300 pounds of chemicals.
Our Jim Carswell has the details of the second problem at the plant.
Closed captioning of News Center 11 is provided by Pearl River Resort.
You're watching WTOK TV, Meridian, live from East Mississippi and West Alabama's news leader. This is News Center 11 at 10.
Good evening, I'm Tom Daniels. Neshoba County authorities are waiting for an autopsy on the body of a young woman found by a roadside there today.
Live from Meridian, you're watching East Mississippi and West Alabama's news leaders. News Center 11 at 10 with Tom Daniels, weather with meteorologist Jason Simpson, and sports with Jamie Triplett. This is News Center 11 at 10. News Center 11 at 10, brought to you by Sunbelt Motors. We're driven to be the best.
You're watching WBKB TV, 11 and 13.
Good evening and welcome to your Upper Great Lakes News Network at 6. Straight ahead, a fiery terrorist attack at a Scotland airport forces U.S. officials to beef up security measures. Also, Governor Jennifer Granholm tells lawmakers to lead by example by taking a pay cut to help fix the state's financial crisis. Plus, Alpena Restore's first ever redneck fundraiser raises a few eyebrows and surpasses many expectations. And of course, your up-to-date local forecast and sports on UGN.
Coming to you live, reporting the news that matters to you. From Lake Superior to Lake Huron, this is UGN, the Upper Great Lakes News Network.
Good evening, I'm Anna Marianetta. A fire sends a man in his 60s to the hospital, leaving others smoked out and
Tracy Rowlett.
Now, live with coverage you can count on. This is CBS 11 News at 10.
Good evening and thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm Tracy Rowlett.
And I'm Karen Borda. Some parents are outraged tonight after the medical records of their newborn babies were found.
A healthy sprinkling of heat relief, how some horses are riding out the high temperatures, and staying safe while staying cool, where you can go to keep young swimmers from getting in over their heads. Plus, finding themselves in the great outdoors, what our kids can get from joining the Youth Conservation Program.
11 at 11, local Northern Nevada coverage. Fox 11 News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Phil Doherty. Thanks for joining us. The oppressive heat is sparing no one, especially anyone or anything living out.
This is KVOS TV DT.
Good morning, with news from around the neighborhood, local sports, and the latest weather forecast. This is News View with Ty Ray and Greg Otterholt.
Ahead on News View, the Northwest Washington Fair is a wrap. We'll tell you how many people attended the big event. And Bellingham's Lighthouse Mission has a warning about giving money to help the homeless. Thanks for joining us. It is Monday morning, August 21st at 6:30. Ty Ray alongside Joe Bateson for the vacationing Greg Otterholt, and it was a terrific.
You're watching WBOY 12 News, the area's #1 newscast. 12 News at 11 begins right now.
Coming up on 12 News at 11.
This is your trusted source, ABC 12 News this morning.
Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, June 27th. I'm Candace Byrne.
And I'm Larry Ellie. Good to have you with us after a gorgeous weekend. John's here now to tell us how beautiful this week will start.
It's because the New York relatives are here. It's going to be an
all of John's New York relatives. That's half of New York City, right?
Pardon me?
WCTI TV 12, Eastern North Carolina's news leader. And now, with coverage you can count on, this is TV 12 News at 6.
Onslow Hospital Authority members fight to save their positions. Good evening, everyone. I'm Wes Goforth.
And I'm Jan Bean. Despite an early morning effort to avoid hearings, the remaining members of the
watching out for you in Southern Oregon and Northern California. This is Newswatch 12 Weekend at 11.
The United States soccer team is about to begin its journey home after an overtime loss to Ghana. Good evening, I'm Emily Wood. Ghana scored 3 minutes.
You're watching WICU 12. Coverage you can count on. This is 12 News at 11.
A bittersweet day in court for the family of...
You're watching 12 News at 11. Coverage you can count on with Kevin McDowell, Amanda Post, 12 News Sports Director Mike Ruzzi, and 12 News Future Track Weather Chief Meteorologist Rob Wilson.
You're watching Channel 12 Eyewitness News, Southern New England's news station.
The search continues tonight for survivors after a TWA jet crashes in the waters off Long Island. Live team coverage is just ahead.
I'm off to tell we're flying over the scene of the crash of TWA Flight 800. We'll have the latest info on this investigation coming up.
And we now know there were Southern New Englanders on board the ill-fated flight. We'll tell you who they were and how their families are coping with the tragedy.
Channel 12 Eyewitness News begins right now.
Good evening, I'm Walter Cryan.
And I'm Karen Adams. 4 Southern New Englanders are feared dead, and among the victims in the crash of TWA Flight 800, the 747 jumbo jet exploded.
This is Channel 12 Eyewitness News with Walter Cryan and Karen Adams.
When we report child abuse cases, we are rarely able to give you more than the name and the age of the victim.
This is News 12 Nightside.
Voters move ahead with the Tennessee lottery, but some church leaders say their fight is not over. And ambulance rides could be draining your tax dollars. News 12 investigates ambulance abuse. Plus, 2 of country music's leading ladies make a comeback. We'll have highlights from tonight's Country Music Awards.
Your local news starts now.
Good evening, I'm Jerry Brown. Thanks for watching News 12 Nightside. Tennessee.
WBKO, sharing Kentucky pride. Live from South Central Kentucky's #1 news station, this is News Center 13 at 6. Gene Burke with sports. Tammy Garrison, weather. And with the news, Barbara Deed and Steve Crabtree.
Good evening. The possibility of major road improvements for an area county was announced today by the Kentucky Transportation Secretary. We'll have more on that story a little bit later.
But first tonight, aid to drought.
This is WOWK, the home of 13 News. Live, local, late breaking. 13 News at 6 begins right now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sandra Cole, live in Huntington.
And I'm Jack Kane, live in Charleston. Thanks for joining us. First tonight, Governor Bob Wise says he's angry and he wants answers.
13 News at 6 with Jack Kane, Sandra Cole, Storm Tracker 13 Weather with Chief Meteorologist Spencer Atkins, and 13 Sports with Steve McGehee. 13 News at 6 will return in a moment. First forecast on 13 News is brought to you by local union construction workers of the ACT Foundation. If you work for a living, they're working for you.
Manhunt is underway tonight as police search for a murder suspect considered armed and dangerous. Good evening, I'm Laura Yamada.
And I'm David Rose. 21-year-old Andrew Dahlquist escaped from...
Is ABC Alaska News Live. Now, April Davis, Carrie Kerrigan, and Derek Agnew with Alaska's only statewide news at 10.
Good evening, everyone. 2 months after a Big Lake teenager was assaulted and badly injured at
This is WEAU 13 News at 6.
All new at 6, live pictures from our Eau Claire Sky Cam showing blue skies. The oppressive heat.
Live from Rockford's news leader, this is 13 News at 6.
2 high-achieving Rockford High School students break down what it takes to get to the top of their class.
From your local news leader, this is 13 News at 11.
It was an unspeakable crime in a quiet neighborhood. A 91-year-old woman murdered in her own home.
Tonight, police say they have a suspect in the case. Their big question, where is he? It's Tuesday night and the big story on 13 News, the search for a suspect in a...
Coverage straight from the heart. This is 13 WMAZ Eyewitness News at 6.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Lori Johnson.
And I'm Frank Malloy. This is Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock. A local police officer and his wife are charged.
Live, local, late breaking. This is News 13 at 6 with Chris Pickle and Randy Garcia. Tonight,
we'll take you live to Karchner Caverns to catch the excitement of today's grand opening. What does the future hold for Native Americans? Hundreds of representatives are in Tucson designing a plan.
News 13, your main source for news.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for News 13 at 11. I'm Jana Barnello.
Coverage you can count on starts now.
Live from WHO TV 13 Des Moines, home of Chopper 13. This is WHO TV 13 News at 10.
Good evening. I'm Lauren Halifax.
I'm John Buck.
Our top story tonight, a local police officer who has spent countless hours fighting crime now finds...
Live from WHO TV 13, coverage you can count on. John Bachman, Lauren Halifax, Keith Murphy Sports, and First Alert meteorologist Ed Wilson with Pinpoint Doppler Radar. This is WHO TV 13 News at 10. You see ads for products that make amazing claims, but do they really work? Brush your teeth anywhere without water. This fingertip toothbrush promises to work just as well as your toothbrush at home. But will it work? On WHO TV 13 News, Thursday at 6.
Tell us about...
From the Tanana Valley Television Studio in South Fairbanks, you're watching KXD News 13 with Bill Burrows and the rest of the News 13 team. Doppler radar and your 5-day weather forecast. Sports. KXD News 13 starts now.
Leading our newscast tonight, Fairbanks Police responded last...
From the Emmy Award-winning WYOU, working for you, this is News 22 at 6 with Kevin and Valerie Daniels, Chief Meteorologist Barry Finn's weather forecast, and John Nugent with all the latest scores and highlights.
WJET TV 24 Erie. From Northwestern Pennsylvania's #1 news station, this is Action News 24.
Y ahora,
Desde Univisión 26 El Paso, más noticias, mejor información. Esto es Noticias 26 Univisión a las 10.
Proponen reubicar las vías del ferrocarril que cruzan por el centro de Ciudad Juárez.
El plan podría...
Esto es Noticias 26 Univisión a las 10 con Héctor Urrutia, Norma García. Deportes con Luis Zúñiga y el clima con Aldo Acosta.
Después de la...
ANOP TV, North Flash, coverage you can count on. This is News 2 Tonight.
Tonight's headlines: on a rampage, a man in a bulldozer destroys property and fires gunshots in a small Colorado town.
This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
His family has spent ungodly amounts of money.
Where the news comes first. This is WKTV News Channel 2 with Bill Worden and Susan Tran. News Channel 2 at 11 begins now.
One local school program is flourishing tonight at a time when budgets are threatening to cut others.
You are watching WLBZ2 Bangor. Local news from your town and news from our state. Maine's best newscast is on WLBZ News Center 2.
Dry conditions and winds keep fire crews busy all afternoon. And after a 2-week shutdown, people in the Millinocket area are wondering what lies ahead for their biggest employer.
Live, local, late breaking. Now from WLBZ News Center 2, this is the 6 o'clock report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jan Smith. Donna Gormley is off tonight.
You're watching WLBZ News Center 2, the 6 o'clock report, with Jan Smith, Donna Gormley, Steve McKay with your weather, and sports with Matt Fine.
From KQTV St. Joseph, this is KQ2 News at 10.
Late last night, the not guilty verdict for George Zimmerman charged in the shooting death of Florida teenager Trayvon Martin.
Fair, accurate, to the point. The 5:30 news starts now on Q2, Montana's news station.
The city of Billings is being blamed for damages caused by a wildfire that scorched more than 1,000 acres in a Billings subdivision.
This is Kota Territory, serving South Dakota, Nebraska, and Wyoming.
Live, local. This is Kota Territory News at 10.
Whether it's the mountains, the beach, or somewhere in between, Americans by the millions are on their way this holiday weekend.
WSTM TV. And now, Channel 3 News at 6. With John Nicholson and Lisa Schweitzer. Roger Springfield on sports. And meteorologist Wayne Mahar.
Good evening. What you are eating could kill you.
From WCAX, Vermont's most trusted news source, this is the Channel 3 News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Adam Sullivan. More radioactive tritium has been detected at Vermont Yankee.
WSAZ News Channel 3, 6 o'clock.
People are getting ready for the president's visit. Some get tickets, others plan to protest. Good evening, I'm Samantha Cozy in Charleston.
And I'm Timmy Aaron Huntington. Our nation's leader will be in Charleston tomorrow night.
President George Bush.
Now, from KTBS 3 in Shreveport, this is KTBS 3 News at 10.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sherry Allen.
And I'm Charles Hadlock.
From WJMN TV, this is CBS 3 News at 11 with Aaron Davison, Tom Zaleski, Tammy Elliott, weather with Chief Meteorologist Tom Mahoney, and sports with Larry McCarran. Now CBS 3 News at 11, working for you. You're watching WLBT News 3 on your side. This is the WLBT 6 p.m. report.
This week, new state laws go into effect designed to crack down on copper thefts.
From KYTV, Springfield, Missouri. This is KY3 News at 6.
It's pretty to look at, but tough to get around in. We are battling our first big winter storm of the new year.
Number 1 in the Ozarks. You're watching KY3 News at 6 with Tony Beeson and Christina Moore, Tom Dye Weather, and Ned Reynolds Sports. Closed captioning of KY3 News is made possible in part by D&D Office Products.
This is WREG News Channel 3 at 10. Our big story tonight, a Mid-South community is on the lookout for a man who may be posing as a police officer. He wears a uniform.
Keeping you informed, involved, and in touch. This is News 3, live at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Katie Sy.
And I'm Carlene Wild. Today on Live at 5, a Marine is remembered.
This is News Watch 4, live at 6.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us for News Watch 4 at 6. I'm Kiki Vensel.
From your hometown news leader, this is WTVY News 4 at 6.
The man convicted of killing 6 people at a farm in Crenshaw County will learn the price he'll pay for several weeks.
You're watching WTVY News 4 at 6 with Angie Casey, Reginald Jones, meteorologist Ashley Brand, and Brad Sherwood with sports.
A federal grand jury in Montgomery has handed down indictment.
From Kansas City's 24-hour news channel, this is Fox 4 News at 6.
Revving up for racing, the deal to make tire-treading dreams come true crosses the finish line.
You're watching Fox 4 News at 6. With Harris Faulkner, Bill Witt, Chief Meteorologist Mike Thompson, and Sports Director Frank Bowl.
You're watching News 4 at 6, where news comes first in high definition.
For the second time this week in Reno, a home is damaged by fire. The fire started at this home on Cardone Avenue near Kipsky Lane last night about 8:30.
You are watching WCMH-TV, Columbus, Ohio. This is News Watch 4 with Doug Adair, Mona Scott, Angela Pace, meteorologist Jim Goodall, and the Dean of Central Ohio Sportscasters, Jimmy Crown.
You're watching News Center 5 tonight. New England's #1 late news with Chet Curtis, Natalie Jacobson, meteorologist Dick Albert, and Mike Lynch on sports. Now, News Center 5 continues.
Water, winds, and washed-up roads are all that's left.
Live and local with coverage you can count on. This is TV5 News at 11.
Dozens of residents are finally back home tonight after a gas leak forced them to seek shelter elsewhere for several hours today. Good evening, I'm Sam Merrill.
And I'm Katie O'Mara. It appears those evacuations were prompted by a leaking gasoline tank.
Live from KSTP-TV St. Paul, Minneapolis, this is Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 6:30.
Students pour out of one suburban high school for lunch today, but 2 weeks ago, a serious accident here has some parents calling for the school to keep the kids inside.
Breaking news in Fayetteville, where we've learned a 16-year-old boy was shot and killed by a police officer. WREL has live coverage from the police station where Fayetteville's police chief spoke with reporters just moments ago.
This is Live 5 News at 6.
The big game you've been waiting for set to start this week, but will the lottery be ready to deliver the pick 3 on time?
Five Alive News Center, Oklahoma's news professionals, Jack Bowen, Jerry Harris, Wayne Shattuck, Jerry Park. This is 5 Alive News tonight.
Good evening. A fire that forced the evacuation of 1,000 residents of Altus is still burning tonight.
Sports with Kurt Maddox, only on News Channel 5. From the capital of Wyoming, this is News Channel 5, news at 5:30.
Hey, good evening. I'm Robert Jiha. Sheriff Pullman will be joining us a little later in the newscast.
This is 10 at 10.
WPSD Local 6, your breaking news and weather authority. This is Local 6 at 10. Now here's your 10 at 10.
After 16 months of investigating, police make an arrest in an arson that destroyed a local courthouse. But first is coming
Your breaking news and weather authority with Scott McGee, Paula Bridges, Weather Authority Jennifer Rukavina, and Jeff Bidwell Sports. This is Local 6 at 10.
From the time you get up in the morning
until you go to bed at night, Local 6, the Weather Authority, constantly updates weather information you need.
Hour by hour forecasts show you how weather will affect your day.
The 7-day planning forecast shows you what to expect tomorrow and beyond.
And when severe weather threatens, we're always on, at home, at the office, and on the go, on your mobile phone or PDA.
With warnings right down to your neighborhood, because nothing matters more than your family's safety.
From KAUZ TV, celebrating 50 years of service to Wichita Falls and Texoma, this is News Channel 6 tonight.
The past month or so, it's been really hard. I haven't felt strongly.
And a former Wichita Falls mayor takes his battle against annexation to the state level.
News Channel 6, where weather comes first, with Rhonda Mackey, Lynn Walker, Storm Team Command Center forecaster Megan Danahay, and Chris Horgan's Video Sports. This is News Channel 6 tonight.
This is WLNS-TV, WLNS-DT Lansing. Now, from your news leader, this is 6 News at 11.
You're looking at live pictures right now of local GM workers walking the picket line.
You're watching 6 News at 11 with Sherry Jones, Dave Ackerley, Chief Meteorologist David Young with your Storm Tracker 6 forecast, and Fred Human with sports. WLNS 6 News, your news leader.
From WECT Wilmington, where news comes first. This is News 6 Nightcast, voted best newscast by the Radio Television News Directors Association of the Carolinas.
The Space Shuttle Discovery poised on the launch pad. This is a live picture from Kennedy Space Center.
Where news comes first. You're watching Francis Weller, Jim Hanchen, Chief Meteorologist George Elliott, and Bob Bonner with sports on News 6 Nightcast.
Much more than just the space shuttle.
Live from the news station, this is KTAL News Channel 6 at 6.
Drivers had a holiday traveler's nightmare. Traffic slowed to a crawl.
You're watching WCSH 6 Portland. More people get their news from WCSH News Center 6 than from any other local news source. This is News Center's Morning Report.
Good morning, I'm Sharon Rose.
And good morning, I'm Jackie Ward. It's been just days since the first presidential debate.
Your news and weather source. ABC 6 News.
Thanks for joining us. Well, it's not much now, just some dirt and some construction equipment, but a year from now, there will be something on that lot.
The television news leader for South Georgia and North Florida, this is Channel 6, WCTV. Eyewitness News. From around the region, the most complete report of news, sports, and weather from the area's #1 news team. Now, live from Television Center, here is John Joyce.
Good evening. A day of surveillance by the Leon County Sheriff's Department.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program.
program with Rob Jennings and Gary Papa.
Sunday night, the lighting of the world's largest menorah signals the beginning of Hanukkah in the Delaware Valley, and King Kong and Santa Claus take the day off to cheer for the Eagles. But the big story in Action News is the defection of the Polish ambassador to the United States.
Number 1 at 5, where the news comes first. This is Idaho's News Channel 7. The News at 5 starts now.
Welcome to the News at 5. I'm Dee Sarton.
WDAM Laurel Hattiesburg. The Pine Belt's choice for news. News 7.
Hattiesburg's mayor unveils his plans for the hub city in 2007.
You're watching Washington's ABC 7. We're on your side. This is News 7 at 6.
A win in Virginia was supposed to be a sure bet for George W. Bush, but
News 7 at 11 with Maureen Bunyan. It all starts with you. Come see why we're proud to be on your side.
You're watching News 7 at 6 with Maureen Bunyan and Kathleen Matthews. Your pinpoint accurate weather forecast with Jeff Gilbert. And running out with sports. This is News 7 at 6.
You're watching KLTV. Caring, committed, proud of East Texas. This is Channel 7 News at 5.
It's the only day of the year when turkeys fly. Flying out of the door of an East Texas business that Oprah Winfrey says makes the best birds.
This is News Channel 8. Coverage you can count on.
And we do want to begin now with breaking news in the city's south side. That's where an apartment caught fire and a woman had to be rescued.
This is News Channel 8, covering tonight's breaking news in Oklahoma with Carol Lambert, Charles Ely, tracking storms with the power of Doppler 8000, Chief Meteorologist Frank Mitchell, and Sports Director Chris Lincoln. You're watching News Channel 8 at 6, coverage you can count on.
Technology, experience, accuracy. Storm Track 8000 weather.
It's very depressing that it seems like it's going to be a done deal. But you know what? If you're standing up for your rights, you have to see it through to the end.
Tonight, the vote on whether to slaughter hogs in East Moline. The lines at the post office back up to get out your last-minute holiday letters and packages. And some incredible pictures of this disaster off the shores of Miami. News Channel 8 starts now.
Live, local, late breaking. News Channel 8 at 10.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Matt Hamill.
And I'm Barbara Dawson. We begin tonight with the vote on...
This is the Evening Report at 6 with the first full weather in the first 10 minutes. Only on NBC North Dakota News, the news leader.
Good evening. I'm Kim Fundingsland.
I'm Karina Lunde. Thanks for joining us. As we reported yesterday, emergency personnel response coordinators expected the...
From NBC North Dakota News, you're watching the Evening Report at 6 with news anchors Kim Fundingsland and Karina Lunde. First warm weather with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lawrence. And sports with Andrew Vitalis. This is the news leader, KMOT TV 10.
You're watching NBC News Channel 11 Nightside.
Good evening and thanks for watching Nightside. I'm Elisa Rivas. Our top story tonight.
Live from KELOLAND Television, KELOLAND News at 6.
Good evening. Opponents of South Dakota's statewide smoking ban are taking their case to court.
After finding out that...
Bringing you the latest on your world at home. This is News 13.
Class of 2004, you are dismissed.
Coming up.
A Memphis funeral home offers a kind gesture to the family of toddler Maurice Brown Jr. How they're helping the family through a terrible ordeal. And Memphis Police and Fire responded to more than 46,000 false alarms last year. What Memphis City Council wants to do to cut the rate of error and save the city money. Plus, Joey Jaws Chestnut does it again. How this eating machine is quickly becoming America's hot dog icon. Also, celebrating Independence Day. We'll have live coverage of the Mid-South celebrations of the 4th of July.
Fox 13 News at 9 starts now.
Happy 4th of July, everyone. Fireworks shows are going on right now.
This is KSFY's Dakota First News Weekend with Shannon Stevens, Tom Glanzer, and meteorologist Aaron Lindman. You're watching Dakota First News Weekend at 10.
Good evening and thank you for choosing KSFY.
You're watching 13 News at 10 with Marla Carter and Ralph Hill. 13 News, Kansas news leader. This is News 13 at 10 with Lydia DeFranco and Dean Johnson.
Wyoming Honor Farm staff introduce a program helping prisoners.
You're watching News Scene 13, live at 10. News that works for you.
Good evening, I'm Paula Morehouse.
And I'm Eric Mays. Missouri set.
You're watching News Scene 13, live at 10. News that works for you. With Eric Mays, Paula Morehouse, Mike Roberts, weather, and Rod Smith, sports.
This is WBTW News 13 at 11.
And a good evening to you in Myrtle Beach. I'm Bob Schubang.
And I'm Martha Hunt. Thank you for joining us. Since 6, there was a drowning in Horry County. Deputy.
Coverage you can count on. This is NBC 15 News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Middleton Cross Plains School.
You're watching NBC 15 News at 10 with anchor reporters Pam Towser and Mike McKinney. Storm Team Weather with Chief Meteorologist David George. And sports with Craig Kashan. Tomorrow morning on NBC 15 News.
Where to find the best return on your savings.
Plus, the military helps in the operating room.
Also, we'll help your green thumb with our first garden showcase. Hello, I'm Mary Hughes.
And I'm Randall White. Join us for all that. Plus,
I'm Jennifer Gibson, helping you get to work on time with the WIBA Traffic Watch.
cooler weather on the way for tomorrow. I'll have forecast details between 5 and 7. Join us.
NBC 15 News. Coverage you can count on 5 to 7 a.m.
This is ABC 17, where news comes first.
Columbia police are cracking down on people who drive too fast in school.
You're watching ABC 17, KMIZ TV, Columbia, Jefferson City. This is ABC 17 First News at 5.
You're watching UPN 21, Minden Shreveport. UPN 21 News, straight to the point.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for UPN 21 News, straight to the point. I'm Gwen Campbell. Tonight we'll give you a
Next at 6, is the city of Milwaukee trading better people for better sidewalks? This group at City Hall says yes.
Show up for class and collect your cash. A new approach may keep kids from skipping out.
And Packer fans find themselves in unfamiliar territory. The CBS 58 News at 6 is next.
The CBS 58 News, named the best Milwaukee newscast by the Associated Press. You're watching the CBS 58 News at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul Plaskowski.
And I'm Chantel Jensen.